Welcome to Cut Daisies and Unicorns, and this is a Trailer Friday. We'd like to welcome you in, saying hello to you, and glad that you are here, as we're going to give you a little bit of a sneak preview on the things that we have already talked about, but you have not heard yet. We're going to give you a little bit of an inside, behind the curtain look, so to speak, of the things that we are going to talk about on Sunday, that you're going to see a full episode. It's a full episode.
It sounds kind of creepy, dude. We're going to show you something behind the curtain.
Right. Like the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's
right?
exactly what went through my mind. See, man, we are tracking. Yeah. You know, last week I watched two movies in your as you were traveling.
Right.
Phil spent more time traveling in a car last week than I worked all week long. I mean, yeah, like the amount of time you got your butt traveled some miles.
Oh yeah.
Oh my word. Yeah.
Lots of geography.
So I watched two movies, A Beautiful Mind.
Oh yeah.
And then I followed that up with Forrest Gump. I was already crying at the end of Beautiful Mind, and then I followed up with Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Robin Wright in Forrest Gump. Does everybody know that?
Yeah.
I mean, the lady who was on like House of Cards.
House of Cards.
And she just shot, and not a person, but like her own movie that she starred in.
Right.
That's absolutely beautiful. Like,
which one's that?
Google.
Because she was in Wonder Woman too. The last, the Wonder Woman.
Oh,
series.
yeah.
So she was part of the Amazonians, or the.
I forgot about that.
Right.
So, 2021, the movie's called Land.
Land.
Yeah, Land.
Okay.
She was actually in both Wonder Womans.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 2017, Wonder Woman 2022 or 2020. She was in Moneyball too. I didn't realize that.
Oh, I didn't know either.
But yeah, Forrest Gump, 1994. Yeah, tears, tears. That was last week. This week, not watching those movies.
Gonna find something else.
Oh my gosh! And I did. Do you know that I am currently? So we've talked about my what is it? My Goodwill radar.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Uh-huh.
So my Goodwill radar, when I lived in Iowa, I was within proximity of 3 different Goodwills.
Mm-hmm.
Like just on daily drive, I could go by. I was close, and I would put up my little Goodwill radar. This is my Goodwill radar. Boop, 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 boop. And so then what I would do is I'd be like, all right, is there anything in that Goodwill that I need to stop for?
Right.
And Salvation Army over on Merle Hay, that was a great one too. I would do that. I'm like, do I need to go to Salvation Army? And I would let the universe tell me. Mm-hmm. And hands down, whenever I showed up, like what I was needing for a project at the time was usually there. Wow. I did it with Habitat too. Restore. Yeah. Yeah, because there are a lot of good finds there as I was remodeling and doing a bunch of stuff. And so now on Domestic Tuesdays, that's what I'm calling it. Mm-hmm. That's the day Steve gets all of his housework done, all the shopping for the house done. I do meal prep, all of that stuff. Domestic Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm. Domestic Tuesday.
Otherwise known as DTs. Yeah, Domestic Tuesday. So then I go to Costco because I can save 30 cents a gallon on gas.
Right.
And so there's a Goodwill right around the corner. Mm. So I've started a DVD library in the studio, Earthen Warehouse studio.
Right.
And it's funny. Like, I'm only one movie away from having the Bourne series with Matt Damon put together.
Nice.
I have, in Star Wars, I have 1, 3, and 4. Keep it. See, so now I've got this list in my mind. Uh-huh. And actually, that's what's on at the studio right now. A New Hope.
Wow.
Episode 4. Otherwise known as the first Star Wars movie.
Right.
Yeah. And every once in a while, so now I'm going to have to start writing it down because, like, I picked up a movie and I already had a copy of it there. But I mean, like, I'm getting the classic. Boondock Saints.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Number 2.
No. Like, and yes, I'm going to be a movie snob.
Mm-hmm.
I have Matrix, the first one. I'm not buying the other 2.
Don't do it.
It's a waste of $1.99.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Why buy new movies when you can buy them for $1.99 at Goodwill?
All right.
Yeah. I don't have to go to Amazon. I'm just going to let the universe bring them to me.
Right.
And so I stop in and I go through and pick through. And if it's 4 or 5 movies, then I walk up the door and I'm like, thank you.
Regular DVD or Blu-ray or?
Well, so I wore out my first DVD player at the studio.
Yeah.
I think it had to do with like the dust and the paint and all this stuff going on during the construction.
Yeah.
And in my head, I had inadvertently bought a Blu-ray concert DVD.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I think we got a DVD player at the house. It plays Blu-ray. Oh yeah. And this old TV that I got that I play it on, Blu-ray makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like even on an old
TV.
On an old
TV.
Older TV. You know what else I got? Both Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. Oh yeah.
Those are good. I like them.
You know, what I'm amazed at, there are some movies as I'm watching them. Now understand, if I'm working in the studio, I'm not really watching them. There's some movies that are great as far as like being like
background,
a video, like it's like an audio book.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hear the story being talked about. Action movies, not so much. Like when they're expecting you a lot, and that's what I picked up. I know that I won't be watching the Sherlock Holmes movies unless I'm sitting down and it's something like if I'm trimming pots and stuff like that, so that I can be able to see, and then I don't know, maybe that's what I should do for the vessels I'm making. Is I like, hey, this pot was trimmed
while watching Sherlock Holmes 1.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, embed it.
Yeah. Nacho Libre. Had to get stretchy pants, especially after talking about that. You know, I mean, like, yeah, so I got some classics.
Uh-huh.
I've got ones that are my go-tos that, like, when I feel off, I have probably 4 or 5 movies that I can put in, and it just feels like home. The Ray Charles story.
Right.
Walk the Line, Johnny Cash's story.
Mm-hmm.
Pitch Perfect. Love the a cappella music in there. Hidden Figures, the inspirational story of the black women who basically were the computers of
at NASA.
NASA, yep.
Yeah.
And Ford versus Ferrari. Mm-hmm. Those 5 right there. I
still haven't seen the end of Ford versus Ferrari because they took it off the flight movies.
Well, you're going to have to come over, and then
I know.
We will wait till the weather's cooler, though, in Chicago.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and so what's coming up on the episode on Sunday? We got a good one.
Yeah, we as you can tell, we hadn't sat down for a week, so there was lots to talk about. But
yeah,
the whole intro we talked. What did we talk about in the beginning of it?
It's been so long ago.
I know.
Hey, the episode coming up
right.
is almost 2 hours.
Right.
It's 1 hour and 50 minutes. And you're like, how do these guys talk for that? Well,
right.
Now you have to understand.
Right.
Phil has a natural outlet to talk most weeks. It's, I mean, he's got men's Bible study on Tuesday. He's got Celebrate Recovery on Thursday, and then there's church service on Sunday. I mean, so you get to publicly orate and,
I have lots of time to talk there.
Yeah. Yeah. Me, I don't talk to anybody. So when I get together with Phil, I'm all about the conversation. I'm like, and you can tell that I've had 3 cups of coffee today because I'm just like wired. It's like, woo, all right, here we go. Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah. Yeah.
So and we're a little bit later today. So there was stuff happened in the morning. Kind of took our podcast time. So we went a little bit later.
Yeah. CPH is back in school. The teachers are back. They were back on Monday. Right. And so did I say that right? No, it's CPS. CPS.
Yeah, Chicago Public Schools. Yeah.
Yeah, CPS. And the kids are going back on Monday.
Right.
And so, you took the teachers some tacos.
Yeah,
and,
we celebrated the teachers a little bit.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that going on, I traded my domestic Tuesday for a sleep-in Thursday. You're going to hear more about that on the podcast. Not gonna ruin it for you. I don't need to spoiler alert that one.
Right.
But so it's later in the afternoon, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic, and it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about the travels.
Yeah.
We talked about soap operas.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that's the theme.
Right.
When they look at season 3, episode, I think it's 7.
I think that's what we're on.
Yeah, it's either 6 or 7. But anyway, the episode. Then when you see that, you're going to see the bold and the beautiful, soap opera heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And we get in and we talk about beautiful things and boldness and bold things, and it's good.
Yeah. I mean, there's some challenges there as well to think about places of boldness within your life and movement.
Yep.
Because boldness doesn't just have to be bold things you speak, but it can be bold moves you make.
Yep.
Beautiful things around you.
Taking them
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we may. For me, it just is a good reminder that we need to take time out on the old podcast and go through those things.
Right.
Yeah. Elevate.
Right.
Lift it up.
Yeah, I think we're missing something from the beginning, though.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it's because we were the end. Not even the end. It's pretty much like, I think it was like 30 to 40 minutes in, and then we kind of switched. So it was, So
yeah. But well, hey, you know what? When they get going and they hear the first 30 minutes, then they'll be like, oh, that's what they were forgetting. Oh, right. You know what? We got into, we got into the mark of the beast and COVID tattoos for QR codes for your vaccination.
Eschatology.
Yes.
That's right.
Just to sneak peek you right there. And if you're wondering how in the world that worked out, you have to tune in Sunday.
Right.
Or any day of the week after that. We're going to publish it on Sunday.
Yeah. So don't miss it.
And Edgar said goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And
with his glowing eyes.
Yep.
Staring. Always staring.
It's true.
Uh-huh. It's almost like he's laughing.
Yeah, and I think what we should do is we should make a plan for next week. Let's do some Fringe Talk.
Okay.
Let's do the research.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to come up with the top wanted names. You know, like, hey, if this is the first thing you're listening to on the Fringe, we're going to point you into some areas for as resources.
Mm-hmm.
You all need to let us know what you thought about the last episode when we talked about JFK.
Right.
I haven't heard much feedback about that.
Nick wrote in and said there's lots to consider there.
Yeah. And so, you know, with our proclivity to conspiracy theories, and maybe we'll unpack that too.
Sure.
Why are we wired the way we're wired to consider conspiracy such a valuable resource?
Right. And that's something that I've always tried to, ponder. So I think that prior to next week, we'll look at some Fringe, also look at, some of the background on conspiracy.
And if you want to get a head start, Psychology Today, isn't that the website you go to?
That's usually
when
I'm looking at the especially the psychology behind things.
Yeah. You find it a helpful resource.
I do.
Yeah, because consistently you go there.
Yeah, especially thinking about any of like mental illness, Psychology Today. I mean, their articles, and they don't. I mean, I'm sure they also have a whole level of like scientific stuff, I mean, I get it's all science, but sometimes they also talk about things that, like this. I mean, when we've brought it up before, about worry and, all of those things that happen. I mean, yeah, it's a great resource to go back to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also, on the shelf, just to remind people, we have an episode coming up where we want to talk about the law of the student. I wrote this down based on our and then a timeless truth that I taught my son early on in age, and that is the rule of zig and zag. Yeah.
Serpentine pattern.
Serpentine pattern?
That's this.
Really?
Like a serpent. So the snake doesn't travel usually straight.
I see. You're right.
It goes, like that. So it's kind of like a zig and a zag.
Yeah, for people who are listening on like an audio podcast, Phil is moving his arm through the air, as you can imagine, like a snake would move. And it's serpentine, meaning serpent-like.
Right.
When you said serpentine, I thought of a serpentine belt on an automobile. And I'm like, that's just a bunch of straight lines, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's true. That's a good differentiation because I don't know a lot of car parts.
It's true.
I've heard of them.
You're
whether they're, to point them out, I wouldn't know.
You're not good at math, and you are not an auto mechanic.
Right.
Yes. All right.
But we did talk about Matt Handley's auto podcast.
Yep.
I mean, not podcast.
River City.
Yeah.
Yep. If you
YouTube.
On YouTube, River City, Matt Handley, you can check it out, and you can see the truck that he's building for me. And so, yeah, those are the things. I think generally, folks, if what you want to really, if you're listening in, Phil and I are doing really well.
We are.
I think we're in a good place.
We are. I think it's a good place.
Yeah, we're rounding the corner. Things aren't as busy as they have been. Yeah. And so just kind of pre-planning to hunker down heading into the fall.
Right.
School starting. Yeah, we're getting around that corner. That's how it feels. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to a little bit cooler weather in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm tired of two-a-days. In football, we used to have two-a-days. They were 2 practices in a day. I'm talking about showers.
Right.
I get a shower in the morning to wake me up because it's like a cup of coffee, and then I get a shower at night so I don't stink. Whew.
Right. Because it's been a long day.
Yeah.
Wash the day off, as they say.
Gotta wash the day off. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got.
Yeah. So make sure you catch it. Catch the episode. Lots of good stuff. And moments that you can interact. We talked about sharing. Take one of the episodes and just share it with somebody that that doesn't have any idea that the Cut Daisies and Unicorns podcast exists. So share your favorite episode, and we would be happy to invite more into this little community of ours.
Yeah. And just remind people that, like a lot of food, we are an acquired taste.
We are an acquired taste.
But we are authentic.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is
not
sure.
We are not mass produced.
No.
Authentic.
Yeah. And we're not by a script.
Authentic cuisine. Num 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 num.
Num num num.
All right. Well, hey, we hope you're doing well too, and let us know if there's anything that you want us to address as far as topics. We'd love some input for that as well, and we will look forward to hearing from you with this next episode.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.